This is a short tutorial on how to fill out the CASA report form. Make sure that you save the CASA report form in the format of having the date first, then the words CASA report, and then the child's last name. There'll be a separate video showing you how to name the files. At the top of the first page, you have the name of the report, CASA report. In the middle of the page will go the last name for the child, and this will be automatically inserted in this form. And over on the right, you have the page numbers. It's page 1 of 4, and as you put information on this form and the form becomes longer, the page numbers will automatically update themselves. The title of the form is right here in the bolded letter. We're going to put the date for the hearing right here, so just double click where it says click here to enter date, and the date that we're going to put on here is October 24th, 2018. The next one we're going to choose the judge or the hearing master. So you click that arrow right next to there and it brings up the names of all the current judges and hearing masters. So let's say Judge Lucas was going to handle this one, so we have it right here. Scroll down a little bit and you're going to put your name right here. The CASA appointment is the date that you were appointed to the case. And right here will be the name of your CASA supervisor. And if you make a mistake, all you have to do is just hit your backspace and the correct key, and it fixes it. The next section will be the identifying information for the child. So you click right here, the child's first name, and click right here for the last name, and you click off to the side. And if you look there, we type the last name in there, and right up here, the last name is automatically input into the header. Go back down here for the date of birth. So that takes care of the identifying information for the child. Scroll down a little bit. I'm going to be showing you the section for the persons contacted, the relationship to the child, and the dates that they were contacted. That's this section right here. As you update this form for additional meetings, you'll see that you'll have to delete some of the people that you didn't contact since the last meeting, or just delete the old dates and put in new ones. So I'm going to put in some information and show you what to do after that. As you can see, I have now filled up all of the 5 rows that were provided for me, but I do need additional rows to add more people to my list. It's very easily done. I'm going to take the cursor, and you can see right now it's blinking right here at the end of the last information I put in. I'm going to move over to the very end of this row, click on the outside, and the cursor will be flashing there. To add another row, all I do is hit my enter key. That makes a new row. And let's say that I wanted to add 5 more rows. So what I do is I go up to the function key that's at the top of my keyboard, and I hit the F4 key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many times as I wish, because the F4 key will repeat the very last action that you did. So now I have additional rows where I could put in more information. Going to add a couple more here. And I can add more information if I want down here. But let's say that I had some extra rows that I didn't need for this particular report. So all I would have to do to delete the extra rows is click and drag in the empty rows. And you can see those selected by seeing the gray area. I right click on that. It brings up a drop down menu. Go to the drop down menu and say delete cells. Another menu will pop up. All I have to do is go down to say I want to delete the entire row. Click on that and say OK. And my extra rows are done. Well, take a look up here on this list. You'll see that there is one word that has the red line underneath it which says that it's misspelled. But I know that the spelling for this person's last name is correct. And since I'll be using her quite often in these reports, I want to add her last name to the dictionary on the computer. So all I have to do is right-click on this. You see that the names that they bring up are not the ones I want, but I want to add this last name of DeRazio to the dictionary. I go down and say Add to Dictionary, and the name is in the dictionary. So the next time I type Susan DeRazio's name, it won't come up as being misspelled. So you could see how easy that is. We have some information here, and I would like to rearrange this list to make it easier to follow. You could do a cut and paste, which I think is a lot of work. So I'm going to show you a slick way of moving a row from one area to another. Let's say that I wanted to move the grandfather's name, George Wilson, up so it will be under the grandmother's name. So I'm going to click in this row. I'm not going to select the row. I'm just going to click. I'm going to hold down with my left hand the Alt and the Shift key on the keyboard, and they're on the left side of the keyboard. I'm going to go over to the arrow keys, and you find 4 arrow keys on the right side of the keyboard. There's an up and down arrow. There's a left and right arrow. So I'm going to hit the up arrow, and you could see that the grandfather's name is going up until it gets right there under the grandmother's name. That's an easy way to move the names around rather than trying to cut them and paste them. So if you want to rearrange the names on the list, that's a very easy way to do it. I just want to remind you that whenever you prepare a new copy of this report, what you need to do is go through the persons contacted, make sure that you did contact these people since the last meeting, and what you'll have to do is change the dates right here. So you would just take your mouse, select the dates, hit the delete key, and then type in the new dates. But let's say that you did that accidentally and you didn't want to remove those dates. All you have to do is go right over here to your screen, to the upper left section of the screen, and you see these little things right here. This is undo. You click the undo, and your dates will come back. The case history and order of events is a list of things that happen during the case, starting with the oldest one first. Now, on the original form, there were only 5 rows, and I've already added a couple extra rows. I want to show you how to put in a bulleted list in case you have to use the bulleted list. So I'm going to put my cursor right here, click right here. And in order to insert a bullet, you go up to your ribbon and make sure you're on your Home tab. Go over here to this section for the paragraph and go right up here to the bullets. Click on the bullet, and that bullet will be formed. I'm going to type a couple things in here for you. And you hit the enter key and another bullet appears. I'm going to show you what happens in case your text goes to more than one line here. You see that it automatically will drop down and indent. If you're done with bullets, all you have to do is hit your enter key again, hit the enter key again, and the bullets will disappear. So that's how you install a bulleted list. As the case goes on, you're going to be deleting some of the earlier events in there. And let me show you how to do that. Let's say that we wanted to delete these first two. I would just go in here and click and drag. Now, if you hit your delete key on your keyboard, the problem with that is it takes away only the text and you're stuck with the two blank rows. So I'm going to use the undo key right up here. Click on the undo. So if you want to get rid of these two rows, what you should do instead of hitting the delete key on your keyboard is do a right click as we did previously. Go down to delete cells. Another drop down menu will pop up. Delete entire row and click OK, and you see that the text and the blank rows disappear. Now, it's important to note that your visits are not to be listed on this order of events, so don't list your visits here. The current placement and treatment will give an overall picture of the case. Each of the sections should be 1 or 2 paragraphs, which will give a snapshot view. You'll notice, though, that some of these sections may not be applicable to your child. For instance, the independent living services, since this child is living in foster care, that's not applicable, so we put an NA down here. More information about this section is given in the instructions. In the relationship sections of this report, we have the mother of the child and the father of the child. Some of the others may also be grandparents, aunts and uncles, stepmothers and stepfathers. The mother of the child, we have the name, the family history, the current diagnosis, and parenting challenges, and the same for the father of the child. If you have other people involved besides the mother and the father, you'll go down to this section, Other Relationships, to the child and fill out the information there. The next section will be the collaborative efforts. This would be if there's any kind of a meeting, such as the family group, decision-making conference, or other types of meetings. In this particular case, there was none since the last hearing. The wishes of the child. If the child's old enough, ask them what they want the court or judge to know and list it here. Issues for the court's attention. Reiterate any issues that you feel are important for the court to consider. And then the recommendations to promote and protect the best interest of the child. In this section, you're to number each recommendation that you make for the child and follow the recommendations from prior court order if they need to be continued into the new court order. And this is to be a numbered list, so I'm going to show you how to do a numbered list. You just click here, hit your enter key, and since it's going to be a numbered list, we're going to go up to the ribbon, make sure you're on the Home tab, go over to the section for the paragraph, and right up here is your numbering. So I'm going to click that, and it will automatically give me a number 1. Hit it again, and the next one will be number 2, and it will continue this way. When you're finished with your numbered list, if you wish to type something else, hit the enter key again. That will bring up the next number. And when you hit the enter key again, you return back to regular non-numbered text.